Hi everyone, I'm starting a new series for beginners guide for stock market or basics of stock market. So before I start this series, here is a disclaimer. I am not a SEBI registered advisor and the content is for educational purposes only. So myself Harish, I'm a trader investor. I'm starting this series to share my knowledge about stock market. So parallelly, you can also learn with me. So we'll start from basics and go till the advanced. So if you are new to stock market and don't know where to start, so this video is for. If the stock market sounds confusing, risky, or like something only experts understand, so don't worry, you are not alone. So, when I first started, I had the same questions. What is a stock? So, how do people make money? So, where do I even begin? So, in this video, I will explain the stock market in a simple language with real examples, so by the end, you will clearly understand what it is. So what your first step should be. So here is a quote by Warren Buffett. So the more you earn, so the more you learn, the more you earn. So that is what it is. So let's start. So these are the topics what we will be covering today. So about stock market, stocks. So why do companies sell stock? How does the stock market actually work? Investing versus trading, and can you lose money? So which is very important. So before I start, so I would like to give an example because there is an assumptions that stock market is like a gambling, right? So here is one example. So consider farming versus gambling. So gambling is like throwing dice, so where you have no control. The stock market is like a farming. A farmer doesn't throw seeds randomly and hope for luck. So he knows the right season, the quality of his soil, the type of seed, the amount of water needed. So if he learns and prepares properly, the chances of a good harvest increase. Similarly, in the stock market, so you study charts or company fundamentals, you manage risk, you wait for the right setup, you control your emotions. When you approach it with the knowledge and discipline, so it becomes a calculated opportunity, not gambling. Yes. So without knowledge, the market feels like a gambling. With knowledge, it becomes opportunity. So what is stock market? So stock market is simply a place where people buy and sell ownership in companies. So that's it. Think of it like a marketplace. So just instead of buying fruits or clothes, you are buying small pieces of businesses like Infosys, SBI, or some other local companies. What is a stock? A stock is also called a share, represents a small piece of ownership in a company. So when you buy a share, so what happens? You become the fraction of owner of that company. So if a company grows and becomes more valuable, your share also becomes valuable. And if the company struggles, the value of your piece will go down. So this will take an example, practical example. So imagine you have few shares of HDFC Bank. You buy 10 shares at 1710 each, spending 17,100. So being an owner, you now own a tiny fraction of the bank. So you don't run the bank, you have a right to have a portion of its success. If the bank performs well and the share price increases to 1800, your 10 shares are now worth 18,000. So you have a capital gain of 900. So imagine if the company bank makes profit and decides to share it. They might pay you a dividend, for example, 20 per share. So you would be receiving 200 cash for that stock because you own few pieces of it. So that is how stock market works, and that is what we call a stock, and that is how we can buy and sell a stock. So why do companies sell stock? So companies sell stocks to raise money. So instead of borrowing from banks, they sell small ownership pieces to the public. So that money is used to grow the business hire people, build products, and expand into new markets. So, as investors, we benefit when the company grows over time. So let's not go deep into investing and the types, as this is a different topic. So let's focus on the simple things. So how does the stock market work? So stocks are bought and sold on exchanges like NSE and BSE. So you don't need to go there physically. So use a broker app that connects you to the market. So we have so many brokerages now, Zerodha, ICICI, Grow, and so on. So where you can go there and buy a stock. When you buy a stock, what happens? So parallelly someone else will be selling it. So when you sell a stock, so there someone else will be buying it. So there is always buyers and sellers. Prices move because of a supply and demand, news, earnings, emotions, and expectations. So we'll dig deeper into this in our future topics. So this is how the stock market actually works. And if you want to any open a brokerage account, so you can just go to those links and open it. So investing versus trading. So now this is where many beginners get confused because there are two main ways people use the stock market. So one is for investment and one is for a trading purposes. So what is investing? So investing, as I told you, so buying some strong companies or index funds and holding them for long term. Trading, so buying and selling more frequently to profit terms, short term price movements. So if you are a beginner, so I strongly recommend starting with investing, so not trade trading, because it is less stressful, less risky, and historically more successful for most people. So here comes the main topic. So can you lose money in stock market? Yes, you can lose money in stock market, not because the market is bad, but because we rush, so we follow hype or too much too soon. So that's why learning the basics and starting small is very important. The safest first step for beginners is, so just open an account and start paper trading, so you practice without real money, or invest a small amount in a broad index fund or ETF. How exchanges work, I have just given a brief about it. So you don't need to go to exchange. You can use any of one of the brokers and start working on it. People use market for different goals. Long-term investors hold for years. Traders hold for days or weeks. As a beginner, focus on long-term investing or a passive index funds. So they are lower stress and they work. I will just finish it with one more example saying the stock market is not gambling. So if you approach it with the proper knowledge and patience, so you will definitely make money. Here is a one more example of a cricket match versus lottery. So you know lottery is a pure luck. So you buy a ticket and hope your number wins. So you have no control over the outcome. So, but you think cricket is same? So, if a player just walks into field without practice, no strategy, no understanding of the pitch, so will he hit six or he will out on the first ball? We know it, right? So he will definitely get out. So that's why professional cricketers want to. So they train daily. They study the pitch conditions, so they try to understand the opponents. So they practices discipline and timing. So they control their emotions under pressure. So because of preparation and skill, so their chances of success will increase. The stock market is like cricket, not a lottery. So if someone trades randomly based on tips or emotions, it feels like gambling. But if someone studies the market, uses a tested strategy, manages risk very well, waits for high probability setup, stay disciplined, so then the stock market becomes a skill based game with calculated opportunities. Luck may play a small role in the short term, but knowledge and discipline decides the long term. Thank you.